5 strangers on a subway platform, and one of them will die. An urgent missile warning that ends up being a false alarm and upends a community. A demon-fighting healthcare worker in Chicago learning to cope with her special powers. A DNA test that not only reunites 2 sisters, but reveals sexism and racism inherent in American society. And a year spent using AI to do everything. I'm Veronica, and these are 5 books I'm excited for being published in May 2026. First up is 5 by Ilona Bannister, published by Crown, 240 pages. Now, I'm very curious to know what the structure of this novel will be. It follows 5 strangers on a train platform who unknowingly face a countdown to the end of one of their lives. There is Jack, who is on the verge of gambling his life away, old Mrs. Worth, who failed at being a mother, the demonic child Gideon and his mother Emma, who is blamed for her child's ways, and successful and damaged businessman Liam. Each of the characters' stories will leave the reader wondering who they would pick to die. The publisher says an incredibly original novel that breaks the 4th wall and asks the reader to be judge, jury, and executioner. 5 looks at some of the most complicated issues of contemporary life: motherhood, disability, addiction. Each stranger has a story, and in Ilona Bannister's skillful hands, 5 strangers come together to create an unforgettable novel. How exactly will this play out? Will someone jump onto the tracks to end their own life? Will they be pushed? I've stood on many a train platform in my day, and I can't say I've never had the urge to push someone off of it, but I've never done it. We'll get the chance to find out who wins this unique version of Survivor on May 5th. Next is Seek Immediate Shelter by Vincent, published by Flatiron Books, 304 pages. Imagine that on an ordinary day, you and everyone around you receive the same alert. Ballistic missile threat inbound. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. That's exactly what happens to the residents of this small town in Massachusetts, and the decision to fight or flee, to pack or panic, will strip them to their basest instincts and force them to reveal who they truly are. In the ensuing melee, one person gets their entire family into a bathtub, which leaves his own survival at risk. Another sends an unforgivable text to their daughter. Another confesses unrequited love. And another takes the opportunity to get in their car and drive away from their wife and daughter. But then they receive a second message. False alarm. Please disregard. All clear. They may be safe, but how will they reckon with their actions? The publisher calls this an urgent, fiercely heartfelt exploration of relationships in all forms, exploring the balance between love and loyalty, betrayal and forgiveness. Honestly, it's giving me strong Twilight Zone vibes. Do you remember that episode when everyone in the neighborhood makes fun of a man for building a bomb shelter, only to insist he take them in when the threat of a bomb becomes real? That's a classic episode, and anything that remotely resembles the Twilight Zone immediately goes on my list. Coming out on May 5th. Next is We Dance Upon Demons by Vaishnavi, Patel, published by Saga Press, 304 pages. Nisha is a healthcare worker in Chicago, dealing not only with abortion bans and screaming protesters, but also her own depression. For some comfort and respite, she stops by an Indian art exhibit at her favorite museum, but suddenly finds herself bleeding, disoriented, and collapsed on the ground, with the last thing she remembers being a statue that beckoned her to touch it. In the following days, Nisha feels a strange power within her, and this power attracts dangerous and mysterious characters who want it for themselves. Among threats from other realms and those very real on Earth, Nisha has to figure out alliances to help her understand the ancient mystery of her powers. Danger comes ever closer for her loved ones and her community and the clinic she's determined to protect, and Nisha must make a choice about the life she wants and fight the demon standing in her way. Now, I've said before I'm not big on fantasy, but put it in a very real context in our world, and you kind of have my attention. Pair this with the fact that Patel, the author, is a lawyer focusing on constitutional law and civil rights, and I'm even more intrigued. I kind of can't wait to find out what this pro-health, demon-fighting novel is all about. It'll be on shelves on May 12th. Next is My Mother's Daughter, Finding Myself in My Family's Fractured Past by Tracy Clark-Flory, published by Gallery Books, 288 pages. DNA tests, the modern way to shake up a family. I kind of love reading these stories where people take a DNA test and find out someone's been lying for a very long time. And by love, I mean it in watching a train wreck kind of way, which isn't quite what this is. Now, Clark-Flory knew that her mother had gotten pregnant as a teenager in the 60s, had been sent to a home for unwed mothers, had placed the baby up for adoption, and had subsequently been committed to a mental institution in her grief. The author was born decades later, and in her 30s, now a mother herself, she took one of these tests in the hopes of finding her sister. And she does. Now connected, the two start to question their mother's past, looking for answers that their mother, who died years earlier, can no longer provide. What they discover is a racist and sexist system aimed at turning bad girls into proper women and wives. A system of patriarchal control, of shame, and mother-daughter dynamics that shaped not just her mother's life, but the author's life as well. And the publisher calls this book a powerful memoir blended with cultural criticism and a moving, intimate tale of traumatic inheritance and intergenerational healing. It'll be out on May 5th. Next is I Am Not a Robot, My Year of Using AI to Do Almost Everything by Joanna, published by HarperCollins, 336 pages. Now, I'm a fan of sci-fi. Ray Bradbury is my favorite author. This entire shelf up to here is Ray Bradbury books. And of course, I've read some Asimov too. So I have reason to be wary of AI, even though I know this is probably my first step toward being the old person who's afraid of new technology, but I don't care. I know these robots will gain sentience one day. So while we don't have that quite yet, we do have AI right now. And in this book, Stern takes readers into a near future where AI promises to be everything from your doctor to your teacher to even your romantic partner. And so what sounds particularly interesting about this book is that it's not super techy. It's not a super sciencey book that'll put most of us to sleep. It promises fun, humor, and creativity as Stern tests these new technologies and takes a look at how people are living with them already today. With comparisons to Mary Roach, who I haven't read, but trust me, she's on the list, the publisher says this book is filled with infographics, photos, and illustrations to help make the material engaging and instructive, and calls this book a very human journey into a brave new world. A world that's exciting and, yes, a little scary. It's like taking a weird, unforgettable vacation with a really good friend. I should probably learn more about AI before the robots rebel and become our overlords, so sign me up for this book. It'll be out on May 12th. And those are the 5 books I'm excited for coming out in May. Which of these sounded interesting to you, or what books coming out in May are you looking forward to? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next video.